Hello, what's up? It's another journal flip through time. I have quite the update. Nothing has changed drastically. System wise, I'm using the same stuff. However, my covers have changed and I've done a lot of things. We got this to talk about. There's a lot. We're going to get right into it. These are my February/March journal pages. I didn't do a proper flip through for February, so sorry. I didn't make too many pages in February, if I'm being honest, because I was trying to figure out things still. And if you see my hands floating like this, also, it's because I'm trying not to bump the table, because if I just move things, the whole camera moves because this camera is super light. So sorry if you see it shaking a lot. There's either going to be no hands or I'm going to be floating like this, like NPC. First person journal tour game. Let's take this one. How about this one? Okay. Anyway, let's get into it. We're going to start off with what you have last seen was this guy right here. This was my main journal, which was a A5 6-ring binder, and I was printing out my pages, doing them on Procreate, printing them out. And if you want to know how to do that, I have an entire video about that you can watch. But if I turn him to the side, you can see there are no longer rings in here. I have changed this one to be a sketchbook. The ring binder rings that I have are the ones that screw in, so you can take them out and put them back in, which I really like because I do like to change my covers around, and I think that's a feature that I'm gonna want in my journals when I start selling them, is the binder rings that you can unscrew, because I know a lot of people also like to change systems. So this is nice to be able to take it to a binder and then make it just a regular cover that I can put a different book into. So anyway, I took out the ring binder, but inside of this one I now have a sketchbook. This is just like a basic sketchbook. It's nothing crazy. It's what is this? Art Alternatives is the brand. I first got this brand of sketchbook when I was in Hawaii, and there was one art shop on Oahu, and this is the first sketchbook that I ever really loved. So I now have an attachment to this brand for sketchbooks, as well as Moleskine sketchbooks. I love those ones too. But this one is super cheap, and it's very thick. The paper is very good. I repurposed it to have a sketchbook because with the binder system, I don't have a proper sketchbook that I can sketch in. All of my sketching has been done on my iPad and then printed out, which I don't love for sketching all the time. I do enjoy it. I do think I've been way more creative having my iPad be the main place, but I don't have a place to just use pen to paper, so I need a sketchbook. When I was using my Moleskine sketchbook as my everything, my epicenter journal, epicenter journal is what I call the journal that I put, journaling, sketching, everything goes into it. That's what I call it. When I was using my Moleskine as an epicenter, I obviously had the sketchbook paper, so I was sketching a lot in there. And I liked having everything intertwined, but because I don't have a place to sketch, I needed it, so I took out the rings, and I put this one in here. This sketchbook has a very specific purpose, though, which I've also never done. I usually just have sketchbooks and I do whatever I want in them. As you can see, this says Asteroid, the graphic novel. So this is going to be all for work for the graphic novel that I'm making. I announced it on, I believe, Patreon, which you can join if you want for free. There's a free tier. You don't have to pay anything. You get to see videos behind the scenes. There's digital downloads, a bunch of stuff on there, and I use it more and more as time goes on. So if you want to join and see stuff that you don't see on here, you can join. But I announced on there that I'm going to focus on doing a graphic novel. If you don't know, I have a character, his name is Asteroid, and he's a little moon guy. He's right here, and anywhere that you go on my social medias, you'll see him. But I originally, years ago, wanted him to be comic strips, and then that turned into comic books, and then the comic books turned into a novel, and then the novel turned into, I want to make an animated series, and then it wants to be a stop motion film. But right now, I need to focus on one big project, and that is going to be the graphic novel, and I'm going to show you all of the behind the scenes of that. I'm filming a video right now, which is going through some of the character designs, which I'll show you in a minute, because that's a new book in my rotation. But this is going to be where I, sketch out ideas, and I work through different character designs or environments, or poses and expressions that aren't, like, I have what I'm calling, like, proper files, or, like, finalized files, and those I will show you. Those are in a binder. But in here is going to be for exploration, and a lot of the messy stuff is going to be in here. Writing down ideas, working through things, and then I will take it to the other book, which is going to be where I finalize the file, and those will be like the final draft. This is where I can do all my rough drafts, and then when I'm ready to say I finish a character's design and I know that I want it to look like that, I will then go to the final draft and put that in a different book. But this is for exploring and practicing and working through things, so it's going to be very messy, which I'm excited for. But yeah, I just have it tucked in here with an elastic. I put some holes in here to make it like a traveler's style, and yeah, that's what this has turned into, because I love this cover. I just was tired of this A5 size. I switched to a personal binder, so this is the segue into my main journal. Last week or so, I was like, you know what? I realized that I wasn't reaching for the bigger size in the way that I was when I was in that moleskin like 2 or 3 months ago. I was using it all day, every day, jotting down random ideas, sketches, like more important ideas, stuff like that. And I was realizing that I wasn't really reaching for my binder, the big one, the way that I was. And I think it's because it was just too big and it felt like a task to open it. So then I picked up a personal size Filofax binder thing, and I've been using that for this last week or so, and it's been going really well. Everything's going perfectly. I thought that the pages were going to be too small. Sometimes they are, but I can always add another page. But overall, I'm getting the same information across. It's just a smaller size, which is fine. But as you can see, this one's empty. I was using this one for like a week or two. I got this back in January, I think, this cover, because I wanted to have the small size, just to see what it was like. I didn't like it back then. I do now. But I was using this cover for the last week until yesterday, when I finally made a new cover. There's actually two. I made 2 new covers for myself, and these are going to be eventually products that I will sell. I will go through this one because I made this one first. Right now I'm using this as my archive binder for my personal size pages. In here I did some experimenting with dyes, so we have this bright blue in here. I'm not a fan of this color really, but it's okay. I was just messing around with these and learning, and I'm still, trying things out, testing all of the products that I have and the quality of them before I start making them to sell. I'm really taking my time with the journals, making sure that they work well, things that I can improve on. So this is also an experiment. But this one has blue in the back. I have a red pocket with a little card slot. These rings, I really like these ones. I don't know what brand they are. I just got them on Amazon, but they're really smooth on the inner side, so your pages don't get caught when you're turning. The binder that I had in that big A5 size, the rings were from Moterm, and they just kept catching on things, and I didn't like it. These ones are super smooth. I will put a link to it down below if you want to get these ones. They're really nice. Love them. In the back of here, I have a black folder with card slots. Again, the work isn't nice. It's very messy still. I'm still honing in my skills. And then I put this blue star charm on it. I have the embellishments on here, little swirls and stars. And I put these rivets on the corners because I think they look cool. So yeah, this was going to be the main one. And then I realized that I had already cut out a piece of leather this size to make a binder, and I completely forgot. So then when I found that, I was like, oh, this is basically a free journal. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to experiment. I'm going to do a bunch of messy stuff on it and see what happens, which then birthed this. This is a dark blue. This lighting is very bad. It looks not that good, but I promise it looks cooler in person. It's got a big little, what am I saying? It's got a big swirl and this little star pendant charm. As you can see, the edges on this one are all messed up because for some reason I sealed these whenever I cut this out like 2 months ago. I sealed them because I was testing out how to burnish the edges of them. And I didn't realize that I burnished them, so when I went to dye them yesterday, to dye this like blue color, the dye did not penetrate because it was already sealed. So it's also splotchy on the inside as well here too. But on this one, I have this big pocket down here and this big folder pocket. I've got some stickers in here, stuff. And this is my main journal setup, which we're going to flip through. In the back, I can show you I've got another little big... why do I keep saying little big? I don't know what's going on. I have a big folder with little pocket inserts. So this is the main book that I'm using right now. This is where I'm journaling. I'm putting commonplace entries. Everything kind of goes in here. And when I have something to say, it goes in here, unless it's a very specific thing, like asteroid work is going in that big sketchbook, as well as the other binder that goes along with it, which we will get to. Yeah, so I've been using this one to archive past pages, so that I just made this one yesterday, and I finished this cover today. So these are still both brand new, and I want to use both of them, so I'm using this one as my archive of pages. A lot of these pages are going to overlap into this next book, so I'm not going to show you these ones, but this is my archive binder for right now until I find something else to do with it. I also might just switch back and forth between covers because I like both of them, but this is the main one that I'm using right now. On the topic of archiving, really quickly, I'm not going to flip through them, but I am going to show you. I purchased these PVC covers to archive my A5 pages. I don't know why I did that because I'm not using A5 anymore. I should have bought clear ones for it, personal size, but nonetheless, I got these. I made a cover for it. January to February pages. I'm not going to flip through this because I've already done that. And if you want to see a flip through, I have another video on these pages. But yeah, this is the archived system for when I finish pages. I'm going to put them in one of these and then I tuck it away for safekeeping. I do still have this cover, which was the first cover I had, and I've been using this one for a supplement to this one. I'm still working out how to go from this big size to small size, so I do need this one around still, just for like comfortability. So I do have my A5 pages still in here, and just some goodies and whatnot. But I'm not reaching for this one, but it is still there in case I feel like homesick and I need to use this one instead of this little one. That's what that's for. So this is the main journal. I'm also using this one in tandem with this tiny sketchbook. This is also an art alternative sketchbook, but in A6 size, mainly because it's the right size and it just kind of all fits together compactly. This is for sketches that are not asteroid related. This is for like personal fun sketches or like practicing if I want to. Basically, if it's like I don't want to draw on my iPad, I will draw in here, and if it's not pertaining to the graphic novel, it'll go in here. That's what this is for. This is the meat and potatoes, so let's get into it. Yeah, I have a Wicked card up here, a ruler. This is a page of Wicked quotes that my friend Georgia at Georgia Journals, hello, if you're watching, hello, how you doing? Georgia sent me a bunch of her stuff because I am making her a cover. I just messaged her like last month and I was like, can I please make you a cover? I'm starting this. I would love if you have one. And she was like, oh my god, yes. So she sent me some goodies. She sent me a bunch of her stickers and she typed this out on a typewriter, which I thought was super cool. And they're all such good quotes from the movie. Like, I was so happy to see all of these quotes because they're all my favorite quotes. So it was great. This is my daily routine because I'm often losing what I should be doing. And I need like this guide foundation of how to start my day, because oftentimes I start the day very chaotically and I need this reminder of, okay, you gotta make sure you do all these every day. So that's what this is. These are my focuses for the year. So far I have 2. By focus I mean like big projects, like massive projects that are going to take up most of my time. I don't mean that these are the only things I'm going to do the whole year. I'm still going to make sculptures and make comic strips and other little fun art things and maybe a little short film or animation stuff. But these are the main focuses, my big projects. So we have the graphic novel and then the journal company. I just have this here to kind of, bring myself back when I start going crazy. I've got some cash in here. These are some budgeting papers. Ghosty pin card. This is my to-do dashboard where I just kind of dump a bunch of things that I want to do. And if I ever have time where I'm like, I don't know what I should be doing right now, which happens a lot, I'm always like, I just did what I need to do for the day, now what? That's what this is for, to kind of write down all that stuff. This is my March calendar, which I'm not really using. These are Megan Rhiannon's pages. This one is the journal, or this calendar spread is Megan's pages. The only thing I have on here is the Eternal Sunshine Deluxe release date. I don't really plan in this monthly calendar, or just for big appointments or stuff like that. I don't really use it that much. Here's a postcard from Idlewild when I went to the snow, which you'll see right here. So these are just papers that I got from this sheet of A6 papers, and they just tear off, and then I put it in the printer, good to go. I was doing it the way where you print it out, fold it, glue it, cut it, trim it, and that was a lot. So I figured out how to do this, and then saw that Megan Rhiannon was also doing this, and I was like, there we go. That's how you know you're on the right track, when Megan starts doing something the same way. So yeah, this is an Idlewild journal entry. Some bits and bobs, just journal entries and photos from the week. I never finished these because this is when I was still moving into this book, so I didn't finish it because I was still like, I don't know. But but then I reprinted all these pages. Here's a big checklist of things to do for the graphic novel. I'm currently working through each character's necessary files, like the turnarounds, expressions, post sheets, character construction, wardrobe, and then a general character sheet at the end. I'm going character by character, so I'm starting with Asteroid. So far I've only done 2, which is still a lot, okay? It's only been a few days since I was like, we gotta focus on this, so I'm doing good. I'm not rushing anything. These are the turnarounds of Asteroid. These are just some loose papers where I write just random notes. I didn't used to have it set up where it would be like the printed pages are at the front and then the loose papers in the back, but then I realized that doesn't really make sense because things were kind of split up, so now I do it just front to back. If I want to write scratch notes, I'll write them, then put them in, and then if I print something after that, it'll go after that page, and now everything's kind of sequential by date. So here's just a bunch of random note stuff. This is from a bar that I went to the other day, and this entire entry is about how the music did not match the vibe. This place, called Polite Provisions, it's like a full-on 1940s bar, and they're playing like pop and hip-hop, and I'm like, why aren't you playing jazz? Why aren't you playing music that matches the vibe? Because everything in there was perfect to the time period. Perfect. Except the music. The floor, the ceiling, the fans, the windows, the cups, everything. So detailed. And then the music is like modern day music. I just didn't like that. This is a blank page that I just put photos on so that I can write in with pen. This is, again, more of the place, more of that bar. I took some photos. The bathroom was cool. Journal entry with some photos. Here are Asteroid's expressions. If you want to see both of these, they're on my Instagram or on Patreon and Tumblr. So you can check them out if you want to see them in better detail. And I have this little card from a blind bag, my Hobonichi pencil board, and then I just keep loose leaf paper in the back for, if I want to take notes, and then I'll move it up to the front. And I also keep it so that I can print out my pages and not have to worry about not having a blank piece of paper. Yeah. So yeah, that is in the back here. I have an archive page which will go at the front of the book once I am done, or once I move all of these pages into the archived binder. This will follow and just put notes of what was in the book so that I know when I'm looking back at them what's in here. And yeah, that's all I got for now. I'm excited to take this one around with me. Because it's so messy and not well done and the edges are all messed up, I have no problem chucking it across the room and making it dirty and worn, which is exciting. That's how a journal should be, is worn and used and scuffed up and all that. So I'm excited for it to get all messy, but I'm very happy with it. I really like it. I think the last thing that I have to show you, this is my Duphonics case. I just want to show you really quickly. This is what I've been carrying around with me. It's just these two. And they just fit in there. And everything's great. Everything is wonderful. The last thing I want to show you is the binder with all of the Asteroid files. I say all of them. There's only 2. But eventually, it'll be full. So this is a pair, it is a duo with the original A5 cover and the sketchbook. So like I said, exploration, messy work, research goes in here, and then in here is going to be the confirmed information for Asteroid. So anything that's in here is like canon information, the official files, official character designs, official stuff. So I don't put anything in here until it is confirmed that this is going to be a part of the story or part of a character design. I can always change what is in here if I want to update something, but whatever is in here is the most recent confirmed and most recently updated. So I just have them sectioned off by character. I have Asteroid here, and then I have Otto's section here, and then I have Lucille's section here. So, like I said, I'm going character by character. I have done turnarounds and expression sheets for all of my characters in the past, but I want to go back and redo all of them, like start from nothing. So that's what I'm doing. I'm working front to back. So right now I only have 2. This is Asteroid's turnarounds. I'm just doing these on printer paper and then putting them in a protective sleeve to keep them safe. And here is another one of Asteroid's pages. This is his expression sheet. I'm really happy with these. And they make me really excited to do more. I'm really proud of how he's coming out. This one from Otto is actually from last year. I did this for art class, so this one is actually from last year, but I'm gonna redo it, I think. I don't know. His character design in here is pretty much exactly how I want him, so I might just leave it. That's why it's still in here, because it's the most up-to-date and most recently approved. And yeah, but we'll get to him eventually. We're still on Asteroid. And then I don't have anything for Lucille yet. I have a section for other characters, like less important characters, or not less important, B characters, environments, and then I just have paper in here so that I can sketch. But yeah, that's this. So this and this are buddies. These two go together. This is here in case I get homesick. This is the archive system of these papers. So these don't get touched every day. These are just like here. But I still needed to tell you about them because they're still brand new. But basically, I have 4 books that I'm currently using kind of on the daily.
Yes.
My Siri went off. These go together. These are for Asteroid. And then I have my journal binder, as well as the sketchbook for that. So it's not that crazy of a system. It's basically the same systems that I had last time I showed you, just different sizing, and then something was added, and it was a sketchbook, which is necessary. So this is my everyday carry. It's still very compact, very small. I love it, and it's working out really well. So yeah, that's it for today. This is my mid-March update. I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments. Make sure to join the Patreon if you want to see more behind the scenes stuff. Again, there's a free tier, you don't have to pay, but I do have a $5 tier where you get digital rewards. So if you want to help support me, it would mean a lot. Everything's in the description, and yeah, I'll see you guys soon. It's probably going to be a video all about the character designing, because I'm making a video for that. But yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching.